All right, the session is now being recorded. Please take note.
Bagan Serai.
Dah belum. Jumpa je. Free wifi.
Oh, Brahma, I just spoke to Kelvin. He
Okay.
exited the group by accident.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I think he tried to, like once in a while we tried to cull off all our non-productive group chats.
Yeah,
I think he accidentally mass exit the thing. So I'm speaking to him. I
That's
said,
why I thought he created a new Rotary group or what.
no. He says, no, don't worry, tell everyone I haven't resigned or died, right? I know people are panicking why I left. I'm going back in. So, but he didn't resign. He's still pretty much of a track.
Okay.
Okay.
right. Gentle reminder to all the Interact students, please do check your screen name.
Yeah, there's Ning, N-I-N-G, Ning.
We are starting in 1 minute time, right?
Yes, please.
30 seconds to be exact, Secretary.
30 seconds.
Okay. So everyone mute yourself except for the MC, and MC will start at sharp 10.
Yeah, make sure they are mute. Ali.
Yeah, but there's this. Okay, now let's say if they don't change their name, we put them in the waiting room back, is it?
No, it's okay. Just
remind them.
MC will make the reminder. Yeah.
During practice, I need this for your attendance. Please make sure that your school name and your names are there in your profile, so that easy for me to check.
Yeah, if you are a teacher, please put your title and Miss or Madam, so we know that you are a teacher advisor and from which school you are.
Okay, over to you, MC.
Hi, good morning, everybody, my fellow Interactors. Welcome to our second Interact Leadership Training series for 2020 to 2021. Now, first, I would like to share with you the house rules. Rules number 1, have your school name followed by your name to your Zoom profile so we can address you as well as for security purposes. Rule number 2, turn on your video so we can see you. Rule number 3, all participants will be on mute. Rule number 4, use Zoom's chat function to participate and send your questions. Rule number 5, think about your action in front of the camera. Number 6, if you connect to more than one device, make sure you mute all devices except for one. Number 7, have fun with us. Right now, before we begin, let me briefly explain on the purpose and benefit of our leadership training to all of you. This session is to provide an understanding and also an update on what Interact is all about. Yes, correct. And it's also to prepare and assist all of you for your duties and responsibilities in Interact, and for those who will be picking up what position in your respective clubs. Last, it is also help in planning your club project and activities. And we would like to inform that it is a requirement for all of you Interactors to complete all 5 sessions to receive the certificate, right? All right, I hope you guys are all excited for the session. Now, let me do the introduction of the guest speaker. Right, just give me 1 minute. Right, our guest speaker today is District Interact Chair, Rotarian Nicholas Chan, a Rotary 2020 to 2021 on Know Your Interact, Interact Citation, and Interact Milestone. Right, so I'm going to read up the introduction right now. Now, Rotarian Nicholas Chan is a Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya and was the Youth Service Director for 2 terms, where he managed 5 Interact clubs before being appointed as the District Interact Chair for RY 2020/2021 under District Governor KS Teo. Rotarian Nicholas is a professional trainer and consultant and is the director of several companies that offer training and consulting program in the area of leadership, personality, and business continuity management. He has trained thousands of participants over a career spanning 15 years and at least 4 continents. He has created and implemented youth program for the national sport ecosystem and for Taylor's University. Former Interactor himself from Catholic High School PJ, he spent 4 years of his high school life in Interact and was active as International Understanding Director for 2 years. His passion and dedication to youth took him to rejoin the Rotary movement with RCPJ, the very same Rotary club that sponsored his Interact club. In 2020, he co-edited the District 23300 Interact Handbook together with past District Governor Paul Lee. A former national athlete who represented Malaysia to the 1995 SEA Games for water polo, Rotary Nicholas is presently still active in the development of our national youth athletes, coaches, and administrator. In September 2020, he was appointed the director of the National Olympic Academy of Malaysia and represent Malaysia to the International Olympic Academy in Greece. He also sits on the executive board of the Olympic Council of Malaysia. Now, before we start, I would like to inform that if you have any questions, kindly raise them by typing in the chat box. And after the sharing session is over, it will be addressed by Rotarian Nicholas Chan in the question and answer session later. Right now, without further ado, I would like to welcome District Interact Chairman Rotarian Nicholas Chan to present on Know Your Interact, Interact Citation, and Interact Milestone. Over to you, Rotarian Nicholas.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Rotarian Haslina. Wonderful. You look very nice today, MC. And thank you, all the Rotarians, my fellow Rotarian brothers and sisters in arms from the Rotary Club of Subang. And thank you, Past President Brahma, for inviting me here today, and all the other Rotarians on duty today. You are doing a fantastic service to the district. First and foremost, I'd like to be on behalf of the District Interact Committee and also for District Governor KS Teo to congratulate Rotary Club of Subang for organizing this very fantastic Interact Leadership Training Seminar. Not only for your own individual sponsored clubs, but also for clubs from within our district. You are doing a great service and truly service above self. So I congratulate you and we thank you so much for doing this. we will prepare a letter of recognition and congratulations for Rotary Club of Subang for your contribution to the Interact movement. Thank you so much. Now, good morning, fellow Interactors, Rotarian advisors, teacher advisors. As I think Rotarian Haslina has already introduced me this morning, quite lengthy. I didn't know that she had to read through the entire thing. I should have given her a more condensed version. My name is Rotarian Nicholas Chan. I am the District Interact Chair for your District 3300 for the Rotary term 2020-2021 under District Governor KS Teo. What I do as the District Interact Chair is I take care of the welfare of 141 Interact clubs in our district. And if you're wondering, yes, that is the number of active Interact clubs in your district right now. 141 Interact clubs, right? Numbering thousands of Interactors. And I can see some of you are all here today from Victoria Institution under Rotary Club of Pudu, Kuan Ching, and a few others also, ELC, Sri UCSI, and it's fantastic to see all of you today. And it's equally more heartening and inspiring to see the very valuable teacher advisors here today also. Your presence here today also marks a very important milestone because we are reaching out to the teacher advisors also in terms of getting teacher advisors more involved in the Rotary and also the Interact movement. So today we'll be talking a lot more about Interact per se. I think last week PP Brahma had briefed me that you talked about Rotary, its relationship with Interact. Today I'll focus a lot more on your responsibilities as an Interact club, right, as BODs, and also the relationship between the teacher advisors, Interactors, and most importantly, the role of the Rotarian advisor. Why are they so important for the bridge between to get an effective Interact club working and also working together with your Rotary club? But before I go ahead, please make sure that if you are from other clubs outside, I know ASI Rotary Club of Subang has already made sure that you've gotten the books. This is the District Interact Handbook. Right now, it's being distributed to all around the district. If you are from up north, like ASI Korean, we've already passed the books over to you already. Please make sure and contact your Rotarian advisor to make sure that you've gotten the book. This basically is, most of the things we're covering today are inside the handbook. On top of that, it also has the ILTS manual inside for you to be able to organize your own ILTS in the future, especially for the Rotary clubs, and also for you to prepare. So this is available right now. So let's talk about fundamentals, right? Interact clubs. Now, how many of you even know the history of Interact, right? Interact is not just any other club. Interact is a global movement. It's not a Malaysian thing. It's not a Rotary thing. Yeah, it is a Rotary-sponsored youth program, if you want to know the technical term behind it. It's a global movement of youth 13 to 17 ages in high school. There are Interact clubs all around the world, right? Not just in Asia. And you'll be proud to know that Malaysia is actually one of the most active Interact movements in the world. 141 in our district alone, right, outnumbers quite a number of other districts around the world. So be proud in the fact that we have a very strong Interact legacy when it comes to our district for the Rotary movement. We have Interact clubs in places like Beirut. We have Interact clubs all the way in Israel, right? We have Interact clubs who have Interactors being members in war-torn countries who've made a difference in their country. We have Interactors from all around the world. We have Interact clubs in Malaysia who have built sister club or brother-sister club relationships with Interact clubs from Ecuador, Panama, right? North America, in Eastern European countries like Latvia, right? So it's not just you. You are not living in a bubble. Right, you're not living in an island. Interact is a global movement, right? So Interact clubs bring together young people ages 12 to develop leadership skills. The first club was formed in 1962 in the state of Florida in the US, called Melbourne High School, right? You can check that out. 1962, that's been a long, long time ago, right? And the benefits is that you get to connect with your community, right? Take action to make a difference in your school and your community, discover cultures and promote international understanding. That's why you have an IU director. I was a former IU director myself, all right, for 2 terms with my Interact club. I was an Interactor many years ago, like yourself. become a leader in your school and community, right? When I say a leader in your school and community, please remember, I want you to look around, open up your COCO book, open up your yearbook, look at all the clubs and societies in your yearbook. How many clubs and societies in your school can claim to be sponsored and managed by a global service movement called Rotary International? I'm sure PP Brahma and his team have already shared with you the impact that Rotary has done around the world, right? With polio, we've eradicated polio with the help of the Rotary movement, and the Rotarians couldn't have done that if it wasn't for Rotaractors and, most importantly, all of you today, Interactors. That's why it's so important for you to understand the legacy and the impact that Interact has had on a global scale. You are not just another school club. Ask yourself right now, what other school club has an adult role model coming to your school to advise the board of directors, to work with the teacher advisors, to work with your parent-teacher association, to work with your school principal and your school authorities, that has a direct link with the Ministry of Education and all other global youth movements in Malaysia, right? That is able to work on issues that can change the world. That's what I want you to reflect on today. The pride of being an Interactor, the pride of being part of a global movement, right? There are 20,000 plus, and now this is an outdated, I'm not really sure whether RI has already updated the numbers. There's 20,000 Interact clubs around the world. For almost 500,000 Interactors, I'm sure it'll be more in the next few years, right? 159 countries with Interact clubs, right? You are part of a global movement that has changed the world, right? You are part of a global movement that created the next generation of Rotaractors and Rotarians. And there are many Rotarians here today also who are formerly Interactors themselves. They started the journey, right? I'd like to share with you a quick story before we go into this. When I joined Interact Club, right, I used to think of it as a social club. They used to have so many activities, there's so many outings, and I wanted to be part of that. And the best thing about it is that I used to see all my fellow jocks from school, all the sports guys and athletes used to join it also. I thought that was probably the club that you would to join. But as I got involved more, we started working with differently able people, both mentally and physically, with St. Paul's Church in PJ. We did a lot of work in terms of working with autistic children when it was still a taboo subject a long time ago with kids, because one of our teachers had a special school for autistic children because her son was autistic herself. She had a son who was autistic, and that changed my life in terms of how I look at service. And when I joined Rotary, the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya again as a Rotarian, I wanted to give back to the movement that actually helped change my life. And I always remembered the four-way test, even when I had this big gap of almost like more than 15, 20 years in between my high school and also my working adult life. I didn't join Rotaract, I joined Rotary directly. And I have to admit right now that Interact has given me so much, and I want to give back to Interact. And that's the impact that Interact has had on my life, right? I still I'm in contact with my fellow former Interactors myself. In fact, an interesting story is that my goddaughter in the UK, right? Her father was my club's president, and the mother is actually the comm service director from the same club. They actually married each other. So if you're thinking that dating opportunities, I'm just joking here, right? I think teacher advisors won't like that. There are also dating opportunities in Interact also, and forming meaningful relationships after that also. One of our latest Rotarians that joined our Rotary Club Petaling Jaya was our finance director for my Interact Club. And in the 1990s, he raised 16,000 ringgit, right, in one term, right, in terms of fundraisers to run our projects and everything. We raised so much that other Interact clubs started coming to take loans from us to be able to run their projects. Right, we had to use our Rotarian advisor, who's actually still a Rotarian in our club, which is past president Jack Lim. Right, he's my proposer to the Rotary Club. That we had to use him as a guarantor to make sure that the money was returned to us later on also. So that's why that also, again, that story encapsulates the relationship between the Interact Club and the Rotary Club. And I think I'm going to stress on that today. As the district Interact chair, I talk to Interact clubs, I talk to schools. And one of the things that I see is that the schools don't engage enough with the Rotary Club. And teacher advisors today, I would like you to take heed that the Rotary clubs here, your sponsoring Rotary clubs are always there for you, right? In terms of working to improve your projects, in terms of working together to improve the quality of the Interact experience for the students, right? Now, that's why this particular slide is very important for you to see the critical relationship between your Rotary Club. Now, this is the slides that we use for our Interact Leadership Training Seminar, so please forgive me for seeing the Rotary RCPJ logo, right? On the top here, you see your Rotary Club. So replace that with whatever Rotary Club that you are sponsored by. If you are like from Kuan Ching and VI, you are probably by Rotary Club Pudu, CPAC, Rotary Club Subang, right? So you see on top here, the Rotarian advisor, right? That's the Rotarian. The Rotarian advisor basically represents the Rotary, the sponsoring Rotary Club, and they liaise directly with the teacher advisors, the vice principal, right? Or the head of vice principal for co-curricular activities, and directly with the principal itself or headmistress itself, because we do have primary school Interact Club. So we use the word headmistress also, right? And we work directly with the board of directors of the Interact Club, right? So always remember, it's a triangle, right? You have at the top Rotarian advisor, the Interact board of directors, and most importantly, part of it, and without it, the triangle collapse, which is the teacher advisor, right? So that's why we insist, and it's a district, actually not just constitutionally in your bylaws as an Interact club, right? It is your responsibility to make sure that the Rotarian advisor and your teacher advisor is always present during board directors meetings, right? And it's also stated in the constitution that, right, it is advisable, but actually very encouraged. And I mean, here in the district, we make it compulsory to a point that your Rotarian advisor should also attend your board directors meeting, for the simple purpose because they need to be able to report back to the Rotary Club to see, are there any linkages to be able to do projects together, to engage with the school to be able to do projects together, right? And if your school, if you look at the bottom of the Interact Club over here, right, there is something called the Interact Club sponsored by Rotary Club. You can also form something called an ICC, the Interact Coordinating Council, right? What does the ICC do? If your club, if you have many clubs under the same sponsoring Rotary Club, right? Like for example, our club in RCPJ, and also RC Subang has a few schools also, you form something called the Interact Coordinating Council. Basically, it's basically a collective committee of Interact clubs that work together to be able to manage joint projects together, right? So ICCs can actually do joint projects together, and it's actually beneficial to have it because number one, you get to coordinate to make sure that you don't clash when it comes to dates for projects. That's one of the useful benefits for it. One other useful benefits for it also is to be able to work together, because the collective effort of many clubs can of course outweigh one club if you're doing projects on your own, especially if you're planning to do major fundraisers in your state, in your district, or in your area, right? So the role of the Rotarian advisor is a major role in mentoring the youth leaders of an Interact club. They are basically mentors, they are role models to you. So hence, they are also supposed to be able to work with you on that also. Now, if you're wondering the scale of how big and how the legacy of Interact, let me share with you just a sample of how old some of the Interact clubs are in the PJ area. Now, I didn't have enough time because I've been busy this whole week with work. I wanted to collect at least some of the school names that are here. Actually, in fact, VI and Kuan Ching, you are also within the 80s and 70s region. I think some Sipakian, the Sipakians, you guys also quite, your school is also in this list also. Just to share with you some of these clubs, how old are they? Asunta, 1970, Sultan Abdul Samad, 1972, Sri Aman, 1974, Catholic High School, 1974, Beacon House, Sri Inai, 2015. We had a club that was in the 60s. Unfortunately, the club has closed down, but they have reopened up again, which is the club of SMKP, which is Taman Petaling Girls School. Right? They were actually formed in 1968. Right? not many long time ago, long before after 1962, where the first club came, Interact Club, right? So this is why I show you this slide, because I want you to show you how long Interact has been in our district and around the world. How important is it that the legacy of service, right? Thousands of Interactors have passed through the school system and these Interact clubs, and they've gone on to be, right, very valuable Interactors. One of the former Interact clubs that's actually formerly under Rotary Club Petaling Jaya before we ceded them over to the Rotary Club of Ara Damansara, which is the Interact Club of SMK Lasau PJ. Now, one of the former Interactors from Lasau PJ is now the Queen's Council. Right? If you read about him, a Malaysian, now I think he's British citizen also, a former student alumni of Lasau PJ, was a former Interactor himself. He's basically the personal lawyer to Her Royal Highness the Queen of England, right? Queen Elizabeth, right? So can you imagine that is the scale of what we have? Interactors who have become what they call it, captains of industry, right? The general manager, basically the second in command of the Genting Group, TK Lim, former Interactor himself from Suda Abdul Samad, right? So you see, there are lots of people right there who have contributed in terms of the Interact movement, right? Now, your responsibility as an Interact club, right? You are to organize activities that focus and is centered around the ideals and values of Rotary International and Interact. So, do you know the 6 and soon to be 7 Rotary areas of focus, right? If you don't, go back and talk to your Rotarian advisors. I won't cover that because probably you'll be covered in this ILTS later on also, right? The 6 areas of focus, right? Rotary has 6 areas of focus in terms of where they place their priorities when it comes to community service projects around the world and also for international understanding, right? Some of them are, for example, conflict resolution and peace building, right? Clean water, education, right? Welfare, right? Income equality, right? There are many of these areas. So you should engage with your Rotarian advisor to learn more about these 6 areas, Rotary areas of focus. There's a 7th area coming up soon, so please know more, right? There are also action groups within the district itself. Right? What are these action groups? These are action groups, and I believe that PP Brahma and a lot of the other Rotarians here, RC Subang, are also part of these action groups themselves also. We have climate change, we have recycling, we have the latest one that just recently got formed, which is mental health, under District Governor-elect Bindi, right? There's going to be, right? And they just recently got a royal patron to be able to be part of the district action group in terms of mental health. Right, so engage with them in terms of doing projects with them, right? Second is uphold the name of Rotary and Interact, right? Rotary and Interact is, as I mentioned, is a global movement. It's a global brand, right? Rotary International was recently named as one of the most credible and transparent charitable organization in the US alone, right? Vetted by many auditors and many auditing companies. So you can have faith that the brand name of Rotary and Interact is there. So one of the things that we also highlight, and I'm actually speaking on behalf of the public image district group, they did tell me to actually say something here today also, is please make sure that you're using the right brands, meaning logos and brandings when it comes to marketing and also branding your Interact club, right? If you notice over here, right, the Interact logo is this one over here, right? The blue color logo, that is your Interact logo, the official Interact logo. You have to use that. We do realize there are some Interact clubs that are still using the old 4-circle logo, right? Please engage with your Rotary club, your Rotary advisor to get the latest logos and the latest branding when it comes to using the proper brand for Interact club. So that as the district Interact chair, I need to make that clear to you. So teacher advisors, please take note on that also. There have been changes over the past few years in terms of the branding, right? Both for Rotary and the Interact club also, how you use the Rotary wheel and also how you use the Interact logo, right? Also, please maintain a professional ethical standard when you run your projects. Now, just to share with you some of the key rules that the district actually maintains with the Interact clubs through the sponsoring Rotary clubs in our district, right? Which is basically number one, you are not allowed to have activities past 6 p.m. on any day. So please conclude all your activities, even if you even if, let's say, for example, you want to do cleanup and everything, please try to end all your activities by 6 p.m. This is 100% for the preservation and safeguarding of your safety and also the safety of your fellow interactors, right? Especially when you are doing projects outside, right? Number two, please make sure that all activities in your school or under your club has had the express permission of the school. The school must be 100% aware of where you are for safety. The school is answerable not just to the Ministry of Education, but most importantly, answerable to the most important stakeholder, which is your parents. So please bear that in mind, right? Number three, you are encouraged, I didn't say compulsory, we always use the word encourage, to have all your activities within the school compound. Unless if it's going to be done outside, please ensure that a teacher or a teacher advisor accompanies you, preferably with your Rotarian advisor as well. Document everything, right? And please also ensure that the Rotarian advisor, right, is well informed. That's why it's important for you to have the Rotarian advisor in your BOD, in your board directors meeting once a month, so that he is aware of all the projects that you're doing, right? We've had cases before where certain accidents have happened while interactors are doing activities outside, fundraising outside, their projects outside, and the Rotarian advisor only comes to know towards after a police report was made or a complaint was made to the school, right? So it's important for you interactors, yourself, your duty and responsibility to make sure that the permissions are achieved, you've gotten your permissions, and also the Rotary advisors are informed and the teacher advisors are informed, right? And that's pretty much it, right? Sit down with your Rotarian advisors to discuss how you can work out your Interact milestone citations and how to get the projects done within the 6 areas of focus, right? Please look at, the third point here is, please look at Interact as an avenue for personal and professional development. Although you do get to the fellowship and social parts of Interact is there, right? Please also be aware that it's also a very good outlet for personal and professional development. As a former interactor myself, I've learned so much as an interactor. When I was elected to the board and we got to work together very closely with our Rotarian advisor, I had no clue what the job meant. So in my first board directors meeting, we were to meet me for the first time to have him so up close. Our then Rotarian advisor, he is still the Rotarian advisor for the Interact Club of Catholic High School, which is past President Jack Lim. And he was then the first non-Asian president of Canon Malaysia, Canon, the copier, the digital solutions company in Malaysia. And I mean, for a Malaysian to be appointed there above all Japanese, which is Canon was a Japanese company. So you can imagine when he sits down and all he says to you is fiscal responsibility. And I was like, what the heck is fiscal responsibility? Right? And he says that Interact clubs are responsible for your own funding. You are to raise your own funds, and please do not expect your Rotary Club to give you any funds, right? There you will learn how to raise funds for charitable causes or for comm service causes. And that's why it's very important for you to realize that that's also another point that you have to understand. The Rotary advisor is very important. So please work with your Rotary advisors. When I say personal and professional development, use this as an opportunity for you to be able to learn new things. Public speaking, leadership, time management, project management, right? The district is now, and the Rotractors are taking the lead on this. We are actually taking the lead right now to work with PMM, right? Which is the Project Management, PMI, Project Management Institute, right? And very soon, I think possibly towards Q3 of this term, we hope by next year to be able to offer project management skills, right, for your Interactors and also for Rotarians and Rotractors to be able to learn project management skills, right? So there are plenty of avenues for personal and professional development, right? You are to, number one, also organize meetings to engage with your members, and also that's very important. You need to have general meetings, right? There has to be a minimum of 1 general meeting and 1 board meeting every month, right? That's how you keep your members interested and updated on what the Rotary movement is doing, what Interact is doing, and what importantly is what are the projects that you're doing also. And the last one, most importantly, is to uphold service above self. You are a role model to the school, right? Many years ago, people look to, and until today, people still look to Interact, all right, as the model club when it comes to organizing, inspiring, and helpful, charitable, and community service-driven projects, right? When it comes to animal welfare, Interact is there. When it comes to income equality, Interact is there. Water conservation, Interact is there. When it comes to international understanding, Interact is there. You guys are at the spearhead and vanguard of service above self. You represent Rotary International. You represent all that is good in the world. Always remember that. It may sound so cliche and you can be cynical and sarcastic about it, but you are that spearhead of community service, of international understanding, right? In doing good in the world, changing lives one person at a time. And always remember when we talked about the word community pops up so much. And as the district Interact chair this year, one of the things that I like to also share with you, the vision this year that District Governor K.S. Teo has mentioned also. When you think about the projects that you have, think about your community. When I say community, we are not talking about, yes, you can do projects for elderly, the old folks home, for the impoverished, the orphanages, right? Animal welfare, shelter homes for animals. Please also bear a thought and think about your community, your school. Your school needs you more than ever. Your school needs your help more than ever. Look deep down in your school and you will find people that need your help, that need your expertise, that need your service above self. They may need maybe the help of your Rotarians. So sometimes that's why it's so important for you to keep a relationship with your Rotarian advisors. They will guide you in terms of being able to work together on projects that will benefit people. There are so many Interact clubs I can name off right now. For example, they may be here today. So there's an Interact club, I think in Perak, that has benefited poor students in their school to have the most basic thing ever that we take for granted every day, which is food, breakfast in the morning. How taken for granted, as underestimated is the concept of breakfast. They have raised funds to enable students to be able to have a hearty, nutritious meal in the morning so they can concentrate on the nutritional and energy levels required to actually perform at school. Think about the community. These are people that need help. School shoes, socks, uniform, school books, stationery. So these are the projects I hope that you can think about when you enter your term next year in January, to focus your efforts on school. They are, look, the Interact Club of Sultan Abdul Samad, they actually, one of these years, 2 terms ago, they actually raised funds which they could have used for international understanding, maybe do something fun and everything. The funds they raised allowed one of their teachers in their school to be able to bring his child home for the first time. His child has been stuck in hospital since he was born because he was always tied to a machine. The child had a kidney problem. So the Interact Club actually raised enough funds to be able to fund 60% to be able to purchase that machine. So the child was able to go back home away from the hospital. So that is the projects you should focus on. All right. Yes, you can raise funds. We are not saying that you ignore the old folks' homes, the orphanages, the animal shelters, the other things, the other causes out there. Right? There are also other pressing needs. COVID-19, the MCO, the lockdown has caused untold damage to our society. All right, it's not just the deaths of people who suffered from the disease itself, but also the subsequent families that are now affected by it as well. So please take a good look and look around your school. Right, some of them may need help with scholarships and SPM. So work with your Rotarians. One of the things that I did before we did under our comm service project was to provide tuition. And because a lot of our interactors were from very good classes, what we did was we had free tuition classes. So what we did was we actually organized free tuition classes for students who couldn't, so they could stay back after school, and several interactors actually volunteered, and we organized several other good standing students to be able to give free tuition for them. All right, but what we did later was we actually got the Rotarian advisor to bring them out for a good meal and also give them a certificate of appreciation for their help. So you see, you don't have to spend money or to raise large amounts of funds to make an impact. Sit down with your Rotarian advisor, your board directors, your teachers, and sit down and see. That's why the triangle I mentioned. Teacher advisor, Rotarian advisor, board directors, interactors work together to form better projects. Right? The next part of it I want you to know is how important is the role of the Rotarian advisors. Right? They have a very strong duty. They are ambassadors, not just for Rotary International, but also to you. Right? So that's why they are always there. And I'm very proud to say that the Rotary Club of Subang has a fantastic legacy and tradition of always being there for all their clubs. And when we speak to the schools and we speak to the interactors, and we actually have a couple of former Sipakian interactors who are now part of the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya, and they say that our RC Subang has been fantastic in terms of supporting the Interact Club. And I'm very proud to say that Rotary Club of Subang deserves all the accolades and all the kudos in terms of supporting the Interact Club. That's why it's so important we build up that Rotarian advisor role, right? They have a big duty to the Rotary Club. They basically are the liaison between Rotary International, Rotary District 3300, and the school and the Interact Club. They have to attend your Interact Club. But with that being said, please be fair to the Rotarian advisors also, fellow interactors, teacher advisors, board directors. They are working professionals. They are working professionals in their own vocation. They may be employed. They also may be self-employed. They own their own businesses, right? So their time and their schedule is very precious to them. So please bear in mind when you organize board directors meetings, general meetings, please give your Rotarian advisors fair notice when your meetings will be. I would encourage, and this is something that we do at our Rotary Club, and also some Rotary Clubs I noticed also, come up with a school calendar. You all know that the change of Interact term has happened. You no longer are beholden to the Rotary term. You now start your school term with the school in January. So you can now sync your school calendar and your club calendar with the entire year starting January to December. So please make sure that you plan out what days would be best for your board directors meeting and your general meetings. I can't impress this hard enough. Please be fair to your Rotarian advisors. They need to plan their time, right? And you can't expect your Rotarian advisors to come at the whim. As I mentioned, some of them are employed. They need to make time to come out, right? Some of them need to schedule. Some of them are also maybe retired, some older Rotarians in some of your other Rotary clubs and Interact clubs in your states and your areas. They may be retired. So they need time to plan out their time. They may be still directors or stakeholders in other companies. So please be fair to them. All right, teacher advisors, please be mindful of that also, that you also have to attend these board directors meetings. So please ensure that the Interactors are mindful of your time also as teacher advisors, because we understand, as an educator myself also, I do a lot of work with international schools. Your time is so important. You have your mashwarats, you have your meetings, you have your COCO meetings, you have your sometimes the mandatory MOE meetings on the weekend, on the weekdays. So Interactors, please bear in mind your teacher advisors may not be available for all your projects. So please schedule the time, sit down with them and make sure that the timings are worked out. Right? Please do that. Right? Please also, the Rotarians also have to report monthly status to the Youth Service Committee meetings. That's why secretaries here, all your secretaries, your avenue directors, club service, finance, IU, and com service, please make sure that you keep a detailed log, a detailed report of all your meetings. Every meeting that you have, every single meeting, you must report it. I encourage all our Interact clubs to have quarterly reports. Right? Please have quarterly reports so it's easier for you to manage, and submit your quarterly reports to your Rotarian advisor so they can also keep track of this. And I will revisit quarterly reports later on when we talk about district awards. And we have noticed that a lot of projects in our district, you, Interact clubs, have missed out on valuable awards because you didn't report or inform your Rotarian advisors about projects that you could have won district awards or even Rotary International citation points for citation awards, right? So if you are clueless or not very sure or not in the know of what Rotary is about, talk to your Rotarian advisors. That's what they're there for. They are ambassadors to your club. They are also responsible for working with the principals and teacher advisors. So please make sure that you inform your Rotarian advisor of anything that's happening in the school, right? So please make sure that your Rotarian advisors attend your board of directors meeting. Tell them early, at least a month before. And if there's any sudden changes, right, please make sure that they are informed of it, right? I give you a good example from my own personal club experience. The Rotary Club Petani Jaya is quite an elderly club, so we have a lot of elderly Rotarians. But some of them, although elderly in age, but they are still youthful in terms of their enthusiasm and commitment to interact. So we have one Rotarian, past President Liu Xiaokong, right? He's 80 years old, right? But he still drives to support the Interact Club as a Rotarian advisor. So, and the problem is that the Interact Club keeps on organizing the meetings on the 3rd floor of the school block. And you expect an 80-year-old Rotarian advisor to walk up 3 flights of stairs, right? At 80 years old with a back and hip problem, who's had 2 hip surgeries already, to walk up 3 flights of stairs to attend your board directors meeting. Please be mindful of these things, right? They want to attend, but you also must make sure they are notified, they are informed, and they are also comfortable to attend. So I told them, I said, look, girls, you need, and you can know it's a girls' school already, you need to understand and empathize with these Rotary advisors. So please have it on the ground floor and closer to the school gate. And when the teacher advisor heard that, the teacher advisors just told the girls, hey, please, let's have it at the teacher's meeting room, which is closer to the principal's office and closer to the school gate. So the Rotarian, number one, don't have to park. And then after that, the teacher advisors and the Interactors started arranging that the Rotarian don't need to park outside, but park inside the school. Right. So you see, these are little things that would improve the relationship between teacher advisors, Rotarian advisors, and also Interactors also. Right. Please make sure that you also introduce your teacher advisors if there is a change of teacher advisor or a change of principal, and most importantly, your COCO head, your vice principal in charge of COCO, right? Or even your How A1 Murid also, because there are some projects from the Rotary Club that can benefit your How A1 Murid or student affair principal, right? You may also want to allow the Rotarian advisors sometimes to be able to engage with your school. So teacher advisors, there are a lot of projects that Rotarians, the Rotary Clubs conduct, and they can benefit the school also. They range from water conservation all the way to scholarships for SPM. For example, the Interact Club of Catholic High School work together with the teacher advisors and the principal to be able to help them save water by doing a water conservation project, and the Rotary Club of Petaling Jaya actually helped them. I'm giving you examples. There are plenty more projects that they do, right? So the school actually benefits by saving 60% of their water bill by collecting and harvesting rainwater. Right. So this is a project that benefit not just the school, it benefited the Rotary Club and it benefited the Interact Club. So that these are projects that, so teacher advisors, please take note, we want to work with you. We've never been out an outside thing. Why have the Interact has survived and thrived and been so successful in schools since the 60s is because we have this fantastic relationship with the school. And many Rotarian advisors today were former teacher advisors who joined Rotary after they retired from school, right? We have also a duty to the Ministry of Education. So the Rotarian advisor, if you need any additional information from, right, about Rotary, about all the projects, about Polio Plus, please talk to your Rotarian advisors, right? Our most important stakeholders also, we are also responsible as a Rotarian advisor. I'm still a Rotarian advisor, right, myself. And one of the key things they are responsible to is your parents, right? So please make sure that all your parents are always in the loop, right? Guys, being an interactor, it's an immensely proud moment, right? To become from probationer to interactor, right? It's a very defining moment in my, it was for me as the interactor in my high school life. So it's also important for teacher advisors also sometimes and interactors to engage your parents. Invite your parents to come for your projects. Get them involved so they get to see what you do. I engage with a lot of young interactors, and some of them do message me during the last the virtual Interact conference that we did early this year before the end of last term by Rotary Club Pudu, is that a Rotarian, my parents don't understand what I do as an interactor, and they never give me permission. They give me such a hard time. Interactors, I ask you this question back. Yes, no doubt, some parents, we know, I'm a parent myself. I have a teenager and a 10-year-old, right? And you need to understand, do you share enough about what you do? I'm sure that if your parents knew what you do, that you help the impoverished, you help your fellow school students, animal welfare, income equality, water conservation. If they knew the extent of what the good that you do as an interactor, open to them, share with them, invite them for your projects, get them involved. They may help with fundraising. What we do is that a lot of the Interact clubs we notice that survive and work very well is that they involve their parents. Some parents have come forward to help with decorations during IU days, right? Help with fundraising, right? Going to their own communities and their companies that they work with to actually help sell cookies and fundraising projects, right? So that's why it's very important for you to be able to get your parents. So that's why the Rotarians work with your parents, and they would like to also engage with your parents at the same time also. Especially now with COVID-19, with the lockdown, we are also trying to seek their views in terms of how we can better run Interact projects and Rotary projects that involve interactors to be safer for them to be able to feel safe, right? Yes, the vaccine is coming, right? You already heard the news, you read the news. Your generation of interactors are the most informed in this generation. So you know more than us when it comes to all these type of things. It is coming to an end. It will, even though it will become a normal, it will become a way of our lives that we may have to still social distance and also be able to wear that mask as much as we don't like it, but life will goes on. Your projects will continue, right? And we have a very strong duty. You must make sure that the Rotarians are always there to advise you. They are not there to give you and to tuition you in things like this. They can advise and guide you. Look at them as mentors. Look at them as role models. Look at them as sounding board if you must, right? Rotarian, we like to do this project. What do you think? That's fantastic, right? Rotarian, I would like to know what are the areas of focus if we do this project, right? So you see, that's very important, right? And when you do your projects within the Rotary area of focus, you increase your chance of getting a district award. We're going to get to that very soon, right? So you see, everything, the triangle always works. The triangle is very important, right? So advise them, we always tell our Rotarian advisors, advise them, lead them, but guide them. Don't tell them what to do. Allow, you guys are fantastic when it comes to projects, the creativity, the innovation, the enthusiasm and commitment. I never get tired of listening to projects and seeing so many projects come highlighted, especially when we judge the best district Interact award. Some of these projects are simply inspiring, right? The amount of engagement with your community, the amount of good that you've done is just immense. And I'm so proud sometimes to tell myself that I was a former Interactor, to see Interactors today do so much good. So please make sure your Rotarian advisors are there for your meetings, right? They are role models, right? They are advisors. So we always tell them, don't run the club for them, right? And Interact is leadership. You are leaders in your school, right? As much as Rotarians are leaders in their community when we serve, when we go out to serve, we are leaders in our community, right? And Interactors, I'm so proud to say that during this whole MCO, CMCO, RMCO, during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, Interactors, Rotaractors, and Rotarians have come out to do so much, and that because the relationship works, right? So duties to Interactors, I'm very proud to say that Rotary Club of Subang actively does personal development courses and programs for the Interact clubs, and also I think there are two clubs here, Vita Institution and also Koncheng, the Rotary Club of Pudu. I'm sure they also run programs for all of you also for development. So personal development, leadership training, use this Interact as a platform, right? Teacher advisors, if you know of like people coming to your school and running projects for personal development, anything from issues like mental health and everything, please engage through the Interact Club. Right? The Interact Club can then engage with the Rotarians and the Rotary Club to make it more, if you want to use the word, marketable, so that it's more known and it gets out there. Right? You have to look at it. It's a triple win situation for the school, with teacher advisors board and the Interactors, and also the Rotary Club. Right? The Rotary Club gets more publicity in terms of getting their projects out there. The school also benefits in terms of getting its name out there, in terms of getting projects done and noticed by the district. If you're a government school, if you're a teacher advisor in a government school, there are also awards given to school based on the level of projects it's done. Right? I'm aware of that also. International schools, you also maybe are part of a global chain. Right? ELC is here today. ELC, you are part of a education network, same with Beacon House. So you might also want to be able to showcase the quality of Interact Club. And Interactors, you want to engage and make your projects known to the world, not because you want publicity, you want credibility or what, because you want to inspire the world. You want to showcase your project so it becomes a model to the world. Right? Good example, last term, the Interactor of Catholic High School, instead of doing a traditional IU day that focused on a country, they decided to focus on community by organizing an IU day focused on mental health. So instead of the traditional dancers and everything, they actually invited people from the befrienders to train participants or audience members attending the IU day to be able to identify people in the school who are experiencing mental health, depression, suicidal tendencies. Right? We understand life is not easy right now, especially with COVID, and mental health has never been more important. Right? So engage with each other. The triangle is a very important thing to do. Right? Public speaking is also important. I don't know whether you've already been informed of this, but Rotary International is now allied together with Toastmasters International. Right? They are Rotarians now, right, work with Toastmasters, and they are still working out the programs. You will then now have access to Toastmasters program for public speaking. So stay tuned to that. We are still finalizing that relationship. How are we going to work with Toastmasters in Malaysia for our district together with the different district and divisions within Toastmasters itself, right? Another thing that I feel very important, and I see this not just within the schools within my club, but also the schools within all the clubs also in our district, is a lot of clubs like to invite outside MCs. Outside MCs, yes, some of these MCs are celebrities. They add credibility to your event. They add credibility and flair and fun to your events. But give me a thought here. Give me a chance to plead this argument right now. They may give you free. They may give you a discount because you are in track, because you're Rotary, you're connected to Rotary. But don't you think there are also other fantastic public speakers in your club? There are also other fantastic MCs in your club that can benefit from the exposure experience to MCing and hosting your events. When the Interactors were invited and the teacher advisors were invited to our installation last year, right? I intentionally went over to the Interact table, the board directors table. I asked them, can you take a look at who's the MC for our Rotary Club? And it's the same for Rotary Club of Subang, it's for the same for Rotary Club of Pudu, everyone. Every Rotarian is an MC. Every Rotarian is a public speaker. Right? And today, your Master of Ceremony, you don't see DJ Dave appearing today as the MC for this today. It's Rotarian Haslina from the Rotary Club of Subang. She is your MC for today. PP Brahma, PP Tinesh, PP Kuhan, all of them. They are all Rotarians who are here today, your hosts and Rotarians. They didn't invite some other, they could have got past President Shirley is a trainer herself. She can get fantastic trainers out there to host and do it. But they are here today at their own time, at their own leisure to be able to work with you today. That's the important thing about it. So use Interact as an avenue for public speaking. Use it as an avenue for self-development. If you see one of your members who has a fantastic voice, a fantastic ability, or even if you want to nurture someone who's nervous, encourage them, push them forward, right? Not literally push them in a gentle way, right? Don't throw them on board and don't give them any training. Work with your Rotary Club. RC Subang has the most number of trainers and consultants in that club, right? Work with them, right? Especially the clubs who are here today. Work with our club, work with any club out there, right? We are with the Toastmasters in the future also. You will have Toastmasters coming to help out also. So guys, please, the money that you spend on getting an external outside MC, you can spend it on your projects. Right? So think about that. Go back and reflect on that, because this is an Interact leadership training seminar. You are board directors who will be making decisions for your club and organizing these projects. Right? Bear in mind these little things that we share. I mean, you want to outside can. Oh, my dad's a fat MC in my district, in my one. He wants to volunteer. I said, you can tell him, say, Daddy, I'm okay, but we got one person who's willing to do it. He may volunteer, he may do it, but think about it. You are leaving one Interactor out, a member out, in terms of exercising a personal development skill, right? And your Rotarian advisors genuinely care for you, right? But as District Interact Chair here, if your Rotarian advisor, and I can say this with the authority, and I say with the authority of the District Governor himself, and also with the District Youth Chair, which is Johnson Pang, right? PhD Johnson Pang. If your Rotarian advisor has been absent from your club, please inform me today. Contact the organizers from Rotary Club of Subang, pass your school name, teacher advisor. If you have not seen your Rotarian advisors for a long time, come see me. That's my job as a District Interact Chair, to make sure that your Rotary and Interact experience is good. It's transparent, it's organized, it's structured. So please come to us. I say this at DIC, I have the full authority of the DG himself, right? So why is all this important? Did you know that you can actually earn citation points? Your club can actually earn awards from Rotary International when it comes to running your project. Have your Rotarian advisors advised you on citations? right? Now, every year, okay, just to give a background, every year when there's a new Rotary year, the incoming district, the president of the Rotary International, right? The big quiz also. I don't know whether PP Brahma have done any quiz with you. Who is the current president of Rotary International? You better know who this guy is, right? He Holger Connect, right? And which country he's from also, and things like that. You should know. And who's the incoming? You should know also. That's the thing, right? So, and one of those things is that every year the Rotary International president has his own set of citations. What he feels is important, right, for Interact, Rotary, and Rotary to achieve, right? So this year, International Interact citations, and this is normally how a Rotary citation looks like, right? This is traditionally how a Rotary citation looks like, right? They have for Interact clubs, and this is the one for Interact clubs, right? And if you can see from the slide here, some of these citations are very easy to achieve. And we don't understand why there is so little Interact clubs that are submitting their citations online. And it's very simple. It's not a form many years ago. It's now online. It's actual online form on the portal itself. So this is for 2019, 2020, the previous year. And these are the citations. You need to submit your nomination form by 15 August every year. So bear in mind, 15 August of every year is the citation deadline. So board directors for next term, your citation need to be submitted by Rotary year 15 August 2020 of every year. So it's 2021 next year. Right? So please take note of that. Right? So you need to get it. You don't need to actually get the district governor citation anymore. You just need to get the district governor permission. You just have to submit it online. So you see the two categories: unite people, take action. Hold a meeting that introduces members to Rotary programs for young leaders. So as long as your club, you invite maybe a Rotarian advisor, and the Rotary Club of Subang this year is one of the organizers for RILA, right? And them talking to you about RILA, you already achieved one citation, and you only have to at least follow and achieve two of this. Engage with your sponsor Rotary Club to talk about, to connect with graduating interactors, right? Get the Rotary Club of Subang to come talk to your school, right? About Rotary Club, and you already achieved that citation already, right? So it's very simple. And this year is made even more simple because there's a different format for this year. You now choose the citation goals you want, and then you try to achieve it, right? So the PDF will be given to you. I pass this to past President Brahma, right? From the host today, from the host club, right? So this is how it looks like, right? There are 20 goals in total, right? And you only have to select at least 11 goals, and you have to do the achieve. Nomination form by the 15th of August, and this is actually from the website itself. I just cut and paste from the website itself. And these are some of the citations, right? Club membership, service participation, Rotary Action Group, leadership development, district conference, right? You send your members to the upcoming district conference that's coming up in March, end of March, whether it's going to be virtual or physical. We can't confirm yet because we're still engaging and monitoring the situation with about COVID. District training, right? This is district training itself can be considered. So you already achieved this already. ILTS can be considered. Leadership training itself is already ILTS, and you achieved that today. So you already achieved leadership development participation. That's one citation achieved already, right? So some of these achievements are more Rotary related, but please pick with it also. So just go online to the website, get your Rotary advisor to sit down with you. That's why and another thing that I was told by Rotary International why they've done this year is because formally this was given to you as a form, as a PDF, and they leave it to the Interact clubs to be able to run it by themselves. And what happens many times, and this is good, interesting information for the Rotarians and also for the teacher advisors also, is that it gives an excuse to the Rotarians to say, okay, I pass it to them already, I don't need to work with them. So this year, Rotary International's intention is by making it online and having to choose and work with the Rotary advisors now have to work very closely with the interactors and the BODs to achieve and to choose out what will be their goals for the year to achieve the citation. Right? There's also the District 3300 Awards, and 2 awards that is actually, this is given by the district itself. There is actually a district award committee that decides based on projects. They judge Rotrack, Rotary, and Interact. Right? Best comm service project, best finance project, best everything. Right? So the two that you might want to take a note of is the best youth service project. It's awarded to your sponsoring club. And the sponsoring club, which it could be in this case Rotary Club of Subang or Pudu or whichever, or Korean, which you are from, you will work together with your Rotarian advisor, say, Rotarian, I feel like this year, and your Rotarian advisor will tell that, hey, I'm giving examples because I only know that, I mean the familiar ones, Kuan Ching ELC, Sri UCSI. Rotarian, the Rotarian advisor say, hey, Sri UCSI, your project this year is fantastic. We would like to submit this as a Best Youth Service Project Award. And it can be done for that, right? There's also Best Interact Project Award. But remember, you can only submit one project as per category. So you submit one project for Best Youth Service Project Award, you cannot submit it for Best Interact Project Award, right? Now that's awarded to the Interact Club, right? Now the past recipient for this award was awarded to the Rotary Club of Sri Aman Girls School. So this is how the award looks like, right? You get a very big trophy. Actually, the trophy is actually with me right now. I haven't passed it to them since the MCO, right? It's actually a massive crystal award, right? And it depends from district, from term to term. So this is a good example of award that was given to Best Interact Club. This was given by past IPDG, immediate past district governor Liu Cheng Lim. This was for the Interact Club of SMKP Sri Aman for Voyage of Virtue. Now, this club earned it for a simple reason because they, number one, they engaged not just the community in their school, but also for the surrounding area, which is Section 14 and Section 13 and 12, and also the Jalan 222 area in PJ. They raised 16,780 ringgit, right, by organizing a charity walk and a charity jumbo sale, right, to benefit victims of child and human trafficking. Right, and the sheer amount of it also was so again, Rotarian advisors who are here today also, I think someone mentioned to me there's a few Rotarians are here also. Rotarian advisors, you can also work with them together to be able to work out projects that can also fit into this also as well, right? So I'm going to end this with a closing remark when it comes to what do you call it, this session today. Be proud and stand tall, right? You are an interactor, and that title doesn't come easy. It comes with the responsibility of being a representative of the Rotary movement, right? Wear the Interact logo with pride, right? And I'm very disappointed, and I want to see this when I come visit. I hope that I'll be able to visit you when COVID is over. Until today, I haven't done my duty to go visit all the various clubs around the district, from Perlis all the way down to the Negeri Sembilan, to visit all your clubs. And I would like to see, when I come visit your school one day, to see your clubs, IU Day or orientation or installation or POBI seminar. I want you to sing the Interact song with pride. Right, nowadays I see you sing the, I mean, no offense to the Malaysian anthem or your state anthem, right? But the Interact song, right? Stand tall and proud when you sing the Interact song. Sing it with gusto, right? Fellow interactors around the world have changed the world in their own way, and you can too. You don't need to think global. You just have to work on your community. And most importantly, work with your Rotarians and work with your teachers, right? This triangle works, right? It has always had, always will be, right? The relationship between the teachers, the interactors, and the Rotarians. And most importantly, the three words: service above self. Putting yourself above your own intent, your own beliefs, so that people can be better. Changing one life at a time. I stand ready to take any questions. I'll pass this back to MC Rotarian Haslina.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Nicholas. It was such a wonderful sharing, right? So anyone have any questions, please feel free to ask Rotarian Nicholas right now. Any questions?
I guess I don't know, did good job that you have no questions.
Well, Jesse,
Okay.
you have given a lot of information, so they are thinking from which topic they should ask the question.
I think the first question normally people ask is why suddenly we changed from Rotary year that started in July to now January, right? For the teacher advisors and also for the interactors, for you to know is that it wasn't done immediately. This was engaged over the past 4 years by many past district governors and even from the immediate past district governor. A lot of feedback has been gotten from principals, from teacher advisors, and also Rotarians, that you have to remember a lot of your COCO activities end by August because you need to prepare for PT3. Right? A lot of schools close it off by August, some even as early as July. Right? And by September, there's a complete freeze on COCO activities in your school. Now, for schools like ELC, for 3UCSI, it may not be the case because you are under a private and international school system. It may be the same also, but for government schools like CPAC, I see some here also, Bukit Mewah, and a few others also. And I think SM Stella Maris still follows the government system, Compton Klang, and a few others also. Because when your term starts in July, your school suddenly closes off everything. So when you take office in July, your school tells you September, stop all activity, and you need to begin next year. So you lose out on half a year. So that's why the district actually implemented that now the Interact term starts from January together with the school. So the school can actually put your projects into the takwim or the school schedule, the school calendar, right? It's not going to be easy because we realize we've been doing this for so many years, not just so many years, since the 60s, and you've always followed it. So right now, the decision has been made and the mandate has been given to me and also to District Governor KSTO to make sure that your school now follows January. For the international schools, we realized that some schools start the school term in September. Your school starts in September. That one, you are okay to begin in July, that's fine. Right? Private schools like Beacon House 3 UCSI, where you start your school in January, you can follow the January term. Right? So that's the thing. Right? So that's one of the things. If the teacher advisors have any questions about the change of Interact term, right? It will be a bit of a stretch in terms of how it, and the fact that you are already attending your ILTS in December means that you are ready to take the office in January already. Right? Yeah, so we have a question here to clarify. Yes. Once we are eligible, it's okay. MC Rotarian Hastina, I'll just read it off directly. All right, no problem. Right. To clarify, once we are eligible for a Rotary citation, do we ask an adult advisor? Yes, they will submit for you. That's why it's important for you to work with your Rotary advisor. They need to know your citation. Right. That's why you need to select your 11 or 20 citation goals. Right. You need to be able to work with them and they will submit it for you before the 15th August, because there's actually the form is there that you need to have your Interact Club number. And actually, I will pass the list of all the Rotary, every Interact Club is given a unique number, right? That under Rotary International. And you should know that also, right? It's actually good information for you to know. Right? I will pass that list to PP Brahma to be distributed to all of you. It's nothing confidential or anything. At least you know how old are some of the Interact clubs in your district and where they are also. I encourage you to do joint projects. I think a lot of times today we don't do enough joint projects, and it's actually good for you. Right? I still keep in touch with all my fellow Interactors from our ICC back then. Bukit Bintang Boys School, I know you are now, I know there's some BB boys here already, right? Bukit Bintang used to be under the Rotary Club Petaling Jaya, now you're under Damansara West, right? No, Central Damansara. Right, so I still hang out, I still meet up for Mamat sessions, right, with a lot of Bukit Bintang boys, about LaSalle boys, right, and we still catch up. So yes, I've never said that Interact is not 100% social club. Keep the fellowship going. You never know that one of these Interactors one day could be your future business partner, could be someone you go to uni with, and everything like that. That's why we encourage you to attend the district Interact conference assembly, right? Soon, right? Now, let me share with you if you there's any other question. Any other questions, guys? Right? From ELC, yes. ELC, do you know who's your sponsoring Rotary Club? Quiz time. We have Interact clubs who don't know they are sponsoring Rotary Club. ELC, maybe you don't want to open your mind, you can just start that. Do you know who's your sponsoring Rotary Club? I think it's ELC SB Yushun. Can you tell me who's your sponsoring Rotary Club? It's okay if you say not sure. I don't blame you.
Is it the Rotary Club of Damansara?
Are you asking me or are you answering me?
Answering. It's an answer.
Are you framing that as a question or as an answer?
It's the Rotary Club of Damansara.
Okay, all right. Which Damansara? Do you know there are like what 6 different Damansaras? There's Damansara Heights, there's Damansara, there's Damansara West, there's Damansara, Central Damansara. No, you see, that's the thing. We have so many Rotary clubs, and you need to know, because number one, then you know who your Rotary advisors are, right? And as I mentioned, teacher advisors, BODs, we've had one school before. They've been doing fantastic projects. I won't name the school. I won't even name the Rotary Club, because I don't believe in shaming Rotary clubs as much as I would love to. And DG Teo has already asked me to, but I won't, right? In front of everyone. This school, Interact Club, has been doing fantastic projects. They had futsal fundraising tournaments. I think some of you may have participated. You may know which school already, right? They've been doing fantastic projects every year, but they have not seen their Rotary advisor for 6 years, right? And incidentally, my son goes to that school. So when I came to that school to pick up my son wearing my Rotary t-shirt, right? My Rotary t-shirt, and they asked me, "Hey, you're a Rotarian. Can you be my Rotary advisor?" I say, "I can't, because I don't know who's your sponsoring Rotary Club." So I had to go and find out, because I was not district Interact chair. I was just a youth service director and a Rotarian, right? So when I went and find out who was the, and when I asked then district Interact chair, which was Kelvin Tong from Penang, to go and find out who this club is, in the end, finally we told them, I said, "Look, if you're not interested to take care of an Interact club, we will give you your club to another Rotary club that wants to take care of an Interact club." That's how much we care about you, right? That's how much the district takes Interact very seriously, right? So in the end, now the Rotary advisor attends every month, right? And I think the fear is that the district Interact chair is there every day to pick up his son. It's going to see whether I make a spot check to that school, right? But I that's the thing. As long as Rotary advisors do their job, I don't need to go to every school to spot check. That's why I don't need to worry about Rotary Club of Subang. They do a fantastic job, right? And I can't say, I mean, I know I've been praising Subang to non-stop by today, but they are one of those model clubs that really take care of their Interact clubs, and we are proud to really proudly say, I give praise when praise is supposed to be given. All right, PP Brahma, under his leadership last year, and all the previous past presidents for Subang, and also the current president also, they've done fantastic work. So that's why and their Interact club is strong. And when the triangle is strong, the district is strong, then the community becomes strong. So more so now than ever in COVID-19, we need to be there for each other right now, right? And I also like to also say a few words. I don't know whether PP Brahma, would there be a segment on Road Track later? I'm sorry, MC Haslina, would there be a segment on Road Track?
Yes, down the road in January.
Okay, good. So I won't cover that. Probably Kelvin will cover that, or your Road Track Club will also cover that also. Please, just to say a few words on that. Please don't feel that after you graduate from high school, your journey with Rotary and Interact ends. You can still join Road Track. You can still serve the community when you join Road Track. It doesn't mean that you go on to uni, pre-U, or college that you will end your journey in Interact. Right? Come and join us at Road Track, and hopefully we'll see you in Rotary one day, right? But please remember, right? Work with your Rotarian advisors, work with your teacher advisors. one thing I like to also, not a warning, but also think, please don't bypass your teacher advisor. Your Rotarian advisor cannot act as a permission for you, right? I've had a BOD call me at 11:30 at night when I'm half asleep, asking me for permission to run a project because the teacher advisor said no. And the Rotarian, no, and his Rotarian advisor said no because I was a youth service director. So she bypassed the youth, the teacher advisor and the Rotarian advisor to come directly to it, right? Hey, this is not, we don't play this type of games, because if your project runs and something happens to you, the school is responsible, the Rotary Club is responsible as well. So the reason why she came to me is because the Rotarian advisor said, no, this project is too risky, I won't allow it. And of course, when the Rotarian advisor says no, the teacher advisor will also equally say no, because if the Rotarian himself, an outsider, feels that it's not safe for school-going children to be able to do the project, the teacher is going to say no also, right? So they thought they can bypass these two people and I can say yes. Forgetting the fact that we sit in the committee and I will get a scolding from the Rotarian advisor, why did I authorize it? And I can't anyway. So please, that's why your BOD meetings is there. There's no such thing as a good or bad project. It's just a project that needs to be thought through and done properly, right? So please make sure your projects have everything that the teacher and the Rotarian will want to see. Number one, it has a clear budget, right? It has a clear intention, how you're going to serve the community, whether it's for international understanding, whether it's for club service, it was com service or international understanding, whichever, right? You also must have a clear, visible kind of proposal to show that it's benefiting the school or the community, and the Rotarians are 100% behind it also. That's why you can actually schedule a meet with the Rotarian advisor. Rotarian, I'm going to propose this to the teacher advisor at the next board directors meeting, right? Can I ask you to run me through and see whether it fits in line with the area of focus for Rotary? Right? So the Rotarian will be there to help you say, okay, look, if you tweak this a little bit to become more centric in terms of income equality, or for education, or for water conservation, or for conflict resolution and peace building, that which is all part of just 3 of the 6 area of focus, right? So you can, I won't cover all this. I want to give your Rotarian advisors work to do also. Rotarian advisors are supposed to give you the criteria for the district Interact Awards. So they will have to give it to you. Right?
Okay, thank you, the district Interact Chair, Rotarian Nicholas. Now back to Haslina.
Right, okay, all right. Well, that was a very great session just now, so I hope you guys have enjoyed and gained a lot of insight. And thank you, Rotarian Nicholas, once again. And now I would like to call upon President Dinesh for his thank you note to our guest speaker. Over to you, President.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Okay, thank you, Rotarian Haslina. And once again, thank you, District Interact Chair, Nicholas Chan. The talk was very informative and you have covered a lot of subject. I especially like the part you have explained the relationship in between sponsoring Rotary Club and Interact. Okay, and you also have emphasized that Interact Club projects should start within the school and then to their community. Right, and I'm sure all our interactors learned their responsibilities and duties, and it is indeed a very good learning this morning. Once again, thank you very much for your time and for the great sharing. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, President Dinesh. Now I would like to invite immediate past President Brahma to say a few words. Immediate past President Brahma, over to you.
Thank you, Rotarian Haslina. Just a few announcements to the presidents of Interact Clubs. Please send me your members list and their emails to me so that we can send the Zoom link via email to them, so that few of them, because I got news that few of them didn't get the Zoom link. So I'll just post my email address down there in the chat box. So please send me your list of interactors and their email address so that we can make sure that they get their emails for the next Saturday's, next week's session. And also this is also for the certificate for those who attend all the 5 sessions. So we're taking attendance too, plus also security purpose lah. So if you have any other questions, also you can email me. Okay, I'll just put my email in the chat box. And next week we start. You can also, guys, please log in at 9:30. Yeah, don't log in at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. in the morning. Log in at 9:30 because that's when we open the room for you guys to come in. Okay, that's all from me. Back to you, MC.
All right, thank you very much, immediate past President Brahma. So now we have come to the end of our session. Thank you everyone for joining our session today. And we will meet again for next session, which will be next Saturday on the topic of Unleash Your Creativity Thinking when planning your project by past President Shirley. So now I will close the meeting for today and we shall continue with fellowship.
Guys, before you drop off, just turn on your video. We would like to have a picture of all of you. So I need you all turn on your video and smile, the lengthiest smile in your life, because I'm gonna flip to few pages. So please smile and hold. All right. Give me a second. Okay, that goes the first page. Hold on, hold on. Now the second page. Smile, smile. Those who have not turned on your video, please turn on. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Oh, my mouth.
Thank you, DIC, for the talk. Very good sharing session. Really learned a lot today.
Thank you, IPP Bama. Thank you, President Dinesh.
Actually, I gave you 20 minutes, but you went until 45 minutes, 50 minutes. But okay, it was a good sharing.
Yeah, I never got that much of information from my Rotarian advisor before.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a teacher in SMKSS 17 actually.
Ah, okay.
So
17,
like,
who's your sponsoring Rotary Club? I see, I'm going to ask that question again.
no, the conflicting Bandar Sunway.
Bandar Sunway.
They have some issue before, right? So I don't know whether it's been resolved or not.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I know, because I need to know this, because so at least I can make sure that, hey, are you guys still okay? Can you go back and support your club? Right. So I think that's important to know, because technically speaking, the district doesn't really allow what do you call it, projects to be held if there's no sponsoring Rotary Club attending.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of those things that we want to make sure. Right. They are supposed to also pass you the Interact handbook. We are trying to get it to them also. So they'll pass one copy to you also, your school. Okay. Wow. How many schools I recognize here? CUCSI, you're in Subang, you're next.